This is the briefing for Friday, February 13th. In last night's briefing, I talked about the fact that the NYSE was approaching an oversold condition, but really had not gotten to oversold, but that the NASDAQ had gotten to an extreme oversold condition. So this is my indicator that shows overbought and oversold. You can see this is where the NYSE was at the close yesterday. And this is where the NASDAQ was. So you can see it was extremely oversold. And typically, when that happens, typically if we'd had both of them at an extreme, it would have been a higher probability of some type of rotation back up. But we had to be aware coming into today that there was going to be some type of pause or some type of counter trend rotation. Now, the key to that was at the open is typically we closed at the low of the day yesterday, so that suggested there was going to be follow through. So the key to it was the open today was an open that was lower than yesterday's low, but the internals were diverging to the upside. As you can see right here, you can see that this is the open that we had in today's trading. I don't know if you can see this buying tail that came in, but we traded all the way down to about the 677.33 area. And you can see right here at that low, you can see where breadth was right here. So it was diverging, and net volume also was right here. So it was diverging as well. And the same thing was occurring in the NASDAQ. You can see, look at where breadth is and where it closed the previous day from here to here. And you can see net volume also was from here to here in the NASDAQ. So it was pretty clear indication that the downtrend was going to at least pause or give us some type of counter trend rotation in today's trading. So, and that's exactly what happened. So, we had the same thing happen in the Russell. There wasn't a lower low in the IWM, but you can see that at the open, breadth was stronger in the Russell, and so was net volume. So that was a pretty clear indication that we were going to see some type of rotation back up or some type of pause. And a pause is basically what we had, and you can see that right through here. That we got this moved open to the downside, then this moved back up, back down again, and of course this area held right here. Now this was a pretty decent buying tail that came in. You can see volume was pretty high, so we did have a pretty good move where buyers stepped in and stopped price from trading down to or through the 676 area, which would have been a pretty significant event should that have happened. And I'll get to that in the longer term analysis on the daily charts. Same thing with the Qs. You can see the buying tail that came in right here, almost testing this 595 area. And then we got the rotation back up. And then, of course, in the IWM, you can see that we had a little bit different. It opened, there's buying tail that came in, and that had a little bit more of a move to the upside as opposed to the other two indices. But anyway, my point I want to make is that when we see a market get to a point of being oversold or overbought, or even to an extreme oversold condition as it was at the end of the day yesterday, the key to look for in the next day is a continuation of the trend, in this case being a downtrend and a lower low, but the internals starting to diverge or strengthening in this case, suggesting that the down move is over at least for now, and that we're going to see some type of rotation or counter trend rotation back to the upside. Now, the other thing that happens, there are different characteristics of counter trend rotations, and one of them is that it typically will work off an overbought or oversold condition quickly in one day, and that it typically happens on low volume. So except for this move here, you can see there was high volume there, but the rest of the day volume was pretty low. And even as you see this rotation back to the upside, you can see volume falling off as well. Looking at where we were in terms of overbought and oversold, you can see the NYSE worked off its oversold or approaching oversold condition. It's approaching overbought, and the NASDAQ absolutely worked off its oversold condition, extreme oversold condition, and getting to a point of being overbought right now. So it appears, at least at this point in time, that this move today and yesterday, where we got this pause right through here, is typically a counter trend rotation to this move to the downside, coming off of this 697 area in the spiders, around the 618 area in the Qs, and about the 269 area in the IWM. So Monday, the market is closed. So it's going to be Tuesday before we see the next trading day. So this is a daily chart of the spiders. So you can see this is a day that neither buyers nor sellers could gain control. You can see the buying tail, and then there's a selling tail closing really right at where it closed in the previous day. Volume down, 52-week highs minus 52-week lows down, breadth up and net volume up to support the fact that we got this pause and this rotation for the rest of the day once we put that low in and we had the buying tail. So this is the Qs on a daily basis, and you can see the same thing. This day, neither buyers nor sellers could gain control. Buying tail, selling tail, and right in between these two key reference areas, the 605 area and about let's call it the 598 area, 597 area. Volume down, breadth up, net volume up. This appears to me on Tuesday that the probabilities are such that we're potentially going to see today's low taken out, and of course a test of the lower extreme area, 585 in the Qs. In that lower extreme area in the spiders is going to be this 689 area. I'm sorry, 669 area. And then below that is going to be the 650 area. So watch this area right through here pretty carefully. That's going to be important because if we break through that, testing this 650 area is going to be a pretty significant event in terms of the longer term upward development of the market itself. Looking at IWM, you can see that it had a breakout move outside of this area of rotation. The other two indices did not follow. It broke out, put in a high. We got a double top right there. Then the sell-off began, but it looked a little bit stronger than the other indices in today's trading as well. So it's going to be very important to see what happens on Tuesday. This is total volume for the NYSE. You can see down slightly, but net volume up. NASDAQ volume down, net volume up. And that, of course, is what gave us the rotation up and the pause or the counter trend, this rotational pattern right through here and right through here. So watch these areas carefully on Tuesday. The 680 area on the spiders, if that's traded through, then we're likely going to test this low here, which is 676. And if that's broken, it looks like we're going to be headed lower for a while. And then, of course, this area here, the low is 600 in the Qs, 606, 607 in the to the upside. And then, of course, with the IWM, it's completely different. This looks like a three-step counter trend rotation, but it's really just involved in a much greater degree time and price rotational pattern. So I would be cautious of trading the IWM, at least at this point in time. If you're serious about it and you want to do it, looking to be long above 265, keep in mind resistance comes in at 268. I'm sorry, 268. Yeah, and then trading below the close for today, you're going to look for support coming in about the 258 area, and that will basically give you a fairly decent opportunity on a day trade potential. Breaking outside of this high and this low would be a intermediate term move and suggest a much greater degree time and price move, even potentially completing this rotational pattern here. Have a great long weekend. I'll pick this back up on Tuesday for subscribers, and it's going to be a very, very interesting day. I should say one more thing, that the trend appears to be turning to the downside, at least at this point in time. But that can change very quickly. I am long-term bullish this market, as I said previously this week. I am short-term bearish this market. But what can change that bearish indication that I have is going to be potential for a news event, and that news event would strengthen the internals and give the market the price development, the fuel it needs to break through upside key reference areas, which it's been unable to do, especially on a daily basis, as you can see here. This goes all the way back to October of last year. So you can see the rotational pattern. This rotational pattern within this one goes back all the way to November of last year. So it's going to be very interesting to see if and when we get a breakout of this area up through here. Have a great long weekend. I'll pick this back up on Tuesday.